What happens if your Appian application is having 1 million of records? Does it become unstable or does it perform just as smoothly? So today I have generated over a million records for our application here and over a million book issues as well. And today we are going to check, is Appian able to handle 1 million of records or not? So this is the library management application which we have built already, and here in the book tab you can see here we have 1 million of records there. Similarly, there are students, so student is having thousands of students are present, around 5,000 are there. And in the book issue, so book issue is having million of books have been issued to thousands of students, so you can assume the data is huge here. Okay, so here as well we can see here 1.1 million of book issues are present there. And now we are going to perform some of the tests here, like whether all these things are performing fine or not. The very first thing that we will start here is with the sync time. So this is the book here and this is the sync history. We will see that how the sync time used to increase with the number of records. So here you can see, you can ignore the first row. Okay, I'm not sure why, maybe it's a system issue. For just 2 records it has taken 32 seconds of time, which is practically not possible here. So let's ignore the first row here. Okay, now let's start with the second row here, 5 seconds. So once the record has 87,000, you can see here it just took 5 seconds, and till the range is around 200k it is taking around 10 seconds of time there. Then gradually it increased the time more than 10 seconds. If I am having like 300, 400, 500, still 700 or 800k, now it eventually crossed that 20 seconds of mark as well once it reached the 1 million of records there. So we can conclude one thing, that if your record is having about 1 million or it is going beyond 1 million, it is going to take more sync time as well. That's why it is recommended that you sync your record outside the business hours, because business should not get impacted due to these long sync times, right? So this is the first thing that we have checked, that sync time should be there. Okay, similarly the sync time will be more for the book issues as well. You can see here I have spent quite a lot of time in order to create all this data here. So I started from 400, then 48,000 is there, then eventually it crossed that 10 seconds of like time, around 500k, then about 1 million it crossed that 20 second of limit as well, and now it is taking around 22 seconds of time. So sync time is there. That is the first thing here. Now let's go back into our site and let's try to search for or before search, let's try to sort the data. So let me just click on this sort here and see sort is working fine. Let's sort by some other fields here. So here as well let's sort by some other fields, and here, so sort, you can see here it is quite fast. This whole fields are working quite fast there. Okay, and any book we can just go and update as well. Let's say like the title is test, and just click on submit here. So it is going to take okay, so anyway process model does not get impacted because we are not querying the data in the processes there. Let's test the user filters. So user filter, you will see here as well it is working quite fast, and this as well it is working quite fast here. So user filters are not that much impacted. In order to see here, it has written 500k plus records and still it is working quite fast there. So these user filters are also working fine there. And let's go in the book issues. So book issue is having like also over 1 million of records there. So let's search for any particular book there, Appian release highlights, and inside this 1 million of record it is able to fetch that record quite fast. Any student we want to search, that also we will be able to search here. So here all okay, so see here it is working as expected for the inbuilt searches as well, or the user filters. Here as well, if I search for anything else, or see here this book, we are going to search here. This is the book here, and let me just sort by ID 1 first of all, and then we will search it. Maybe on the same page if it is there, it may take less time, but over 1 million record, and see it is able to fast. So these things are also working fine here. So as of now we can say that whatever the number of records, these inbuilt components are present, which is working fine there. Now let's move to the dashboard. So here we have created a dashboard here, and here you can see some of the KPIs we have created. A line chart is there, a pie chart is there. How does this UI perform? Because this is a custom data. So let's go in the interface. Let me just refresh it once. Okay, and now we will check the performance of this UI. Anyway, if we refresh it, it loaded quite fast, right? And let's check the performance here. So if you go into the performance details here, let's see how much time is it taking. So just 159 seconds. Like it can be more as well, obviously depends on the number of time, but this is do it by day. We don't have that much of data, but whatever it is, you can see that the number of average time is around 743 milliseconds, and maximum it has taken around 6 seconds of time. But it's not that every time it is going to take 6 seconds of time there. Okay, so this UI is also working quite fast there. In order to load millions of books, see here we are like not loading one or two data, there are millions of count is present there. So this is about the UI. Let's go in the database and let's check that. This is the book here. Let's click on refresh. See, database, you don't have to worry. Database will be fast because database is like optimized in its own way. It's not dependent on our records here. So database will be fast. Millions of record is nothing for the DB here. So all these values are working fine here. Now in our latest release, even records have performance tabs here. So here you can see in the monitor section there is performance tab, and you can check the performance of the records as well there. So records is having good performance here, around 281 milliseconds only it is taking to fetch such a huge number of records there. Okay, so it might not be true in your case as well, because the number of time it takes to fetch the data depends on the quality of the data as well. So as of now, for our books and everything, the text data are very less. So you can see like the name of the books, or see here, as of now it's taking a bit more time now to load the data. So sometime it can take, based on that much it can take the data. So the columns, the titles, author, or anything else is there, if it take more data or more text is there, obviously it is going to take more time. That's why it is recommended that in the grids you avoid the columns which is having more text data, and keep it like minimal data in the text, and let it other data in the summary views there. Okay, so that is one thing here. So in the performance you can see record list is taking less time there, data query and filters is taking just 22 milliseconds of time, and interfaces and user filters as well, these are all minimum times it is taking. So we can conclude that yes, your application can perform perfectly fine even if it crosses the 1 million of mark there, or even it crosses like a 5 or 4 or 5 millions of data. But what is the condition? The condition is that you should use the best practices while development. You should use as much inbuilt component as possible. If it was some other component, if I have like instead of getting the fetch total count, see here in the UI how I'm getting the data, I'm just querying one data and I'm using fetch total count. If I have done the maximum 5,000 of data there, okay, and in my fields I would be returning all the data. Let me just show you all the data there. So now you can see here I have used all the fields from the record type, and now the performance you can see it is eventually going to get more time to load the data, because we are getting 5,000 of data this time. So every time you will load, see here the performance has started to degrade 409. Okay, next time we will see again it will take like it can get fluctuating as well. So the best practices are very important to be followed, then only you can be sure that your application will remain scalable at millions of records as well. So any custom component you are using, make sure that it is following the best practices, otherwise it is going to have issues at later stages of time as well. So can Appian handle millions of records? From everything we have tested today, record types we have tested, searches we have tested, dashboards we have tested, related records are there. Answer is yes. But the important point is Appian isn't loading everything into the memory. Okay, a good database design, a good use of the inbuilt components are there, efficient utilization in the KPIs and the dashboards, those things are playing the important role there. A poorly designed application will start to struggle at just thousands or hundreds of data only, but an efficient application will perform even at millions of records as well. So that was all for now, guys. In this video we have performed on the performance testing of the application at millions of records here. Okay, so next time we will meet in our some other tutorial. So that was all for now. Thank you.